Let's get started. What we'll do right at the top, in the interest of transparency, is get you the methodology that's been deployed by Cicero to put this opinion poll together for us. This opinion poll is a snap poll. It's been conducted across 35 assembly constituencies. Remember, there are 70 assembly constituencies. We've sampled half of them. There are respondents from 105 polling stations who've been surveyed. The total sample size of this survey is 1,910. Now, this is enough to give us a sense of what the mood among the voters of Delhi is. This isn't enough to make projections for seats, so we will not be venturing to do that, but this will give us a sense of what impact Kiran Bedi's inclusion into the BJP has had. So let's now start by getting you some of the key findings of this opinion poll. And I'll start with questions around Kiran Bedi's inclusion. What do people make of the fact that this former super cop is now in the Bharatiya Janata Party? How is this going down with the voters of Delhi? Let's take our first question in the India Today-Cicero Delhi snap poll. Bedi's decision to join the BJP, is it right? Is it not right? 65% say this is right. 25% say no. So two-thirds of the respondents favor the fact that Kiran Bedi entered the BJP. BJP's decision to project Bedi as CM, is this wrong? Remember and see very carefully how the question is worded. It asks, is the decision wrong? 44% say it's not wrong. But a very large sample, which is 43, say that this decision is indeed wrong. So voters split down the middle on that key question. What about the dissent that we've seen from supporters of various BJP leaders? Is this impacting the BJP's fortunes in this election? 49% say yes. That's almost half the respondents feel that dissent is hurting the BJP's prospects. 35% say no. Amit Shah would be deeply concerned by the findings of that question. BJP encouraging political opportunism? 47% say yes. 36% say no. The overwhelming majority feel that there is an element of opportunism in what the BJP has done. Is Modi right in saying that Kejriwal behaves like the Naxals? 44% say yes. Now that is interesting, because that is much more than the 34 who say no. 44% of the respondents feel that Arvind Kejriwal behaves like the Naxals. We've got lots of more questions for you, which we'll be taking one by one. Let me also introduce you to the panel that we've put together for this program. I want to begin by introducing Manisha Priyam, very well-known political analyst. She's part of our crack political panel. Javed Ansari, my colleague and our executive editor. Also with us in the studio is Dhananjay Joshi, the lead pollster for Cicero. Surjit Bhalla, one of the sharpest political minds, crunches numbers really well, is also joining us on this broadcast, and we'll be joined by leaders from all three parties as well. Before I begin the discussion, let me also put out responses on Arvind Kejriwal. What do the voters of Delhi make of Arvind Kejriwal? Let's start with the first question. Is he a runaway chief minister? Almost one-third of the respondents feel that Kejriwal is a runaway chief minister. Is he a revolutionary? 1/4 of the respondents think of him as a revolutionary. Is he a political leader? 22% think he's a good, solid political leader. 14% call Arvind Kejriwal an anarchist. So that's the first set of responses. We have a lot more which we'll put out over the next few minutes. Let me walk across and get our discussion going, starting with Manisha Priyam on the overwhelming response that BJP gets in its decision to bring Kiran Bedi in. 65% supporting the Bharatiya Janata Party on that.
Yeah, I mean, the BJP did seem like a party here in Delhi which did not have a chief ministerial candidate, and when Arvind Kejriwal and his team would mock them saying, is Narendra Modi going to become the chief minister of Delhi? So that was a question mark there, a big question mark on them. In any other place, if you see, in Haryana it worked for them, in Maharashtra it worked for them, in Jharkhand it worked for them. The central command model, this is a city, as I have been maintaining on your programs, this is a city that's been a city of protest. It wants clear-cut answers. The questions, especially of the underclass of this city, their political questions surpass any political punditry that the biggest political leaders may have had.
But Javed, there's also
clearly
concern.
A reversal on the part of the BJP of their earlier strategy that the central command will decide. Here they've had to bow themselves down to that persistent question that was coming, and they have had to ipso facto, even an imported leader, but they've had to announce a chief ministerial candidate.
And we'll come to why that's important. But you're saying that the BJP forced to take this decision.
Yes.
But there are two responses, Javed, which would be deeply disconcerting to the BJP. Is the decision to project Kiran Bedi as chief minister wrong? 43% say it's wrong. That's almost close to half the respondents. Are dissidents harming the party? 49% say yes. So this is not quite as hunky-dory as Amit Shah and the BJP would like us to believe.
It's certainly not hunky-dory, and that's the reason why Kiran Bedi has been brought in. It's not by choice, it's by compulsion. And who would know this then better than you? She was negotiating with us to join us as one of our experts till 4 days ago, till a couple of days ago. It wasn't a part of a larger strategy. It's a desperate move. It's a decision not made out of confidence, but they've reached out in desperation because they know that the Jagdish Mukhis, the Satish Upadhyayas, with all due respect to them, they were not measuring up to Kejriwal. And there's nothing to say that Kiran Bedi will or will not. But the fact of the matter is that they were not, and that's why they've had to import somebody.
They would have expected, Dhananjay, that there would be a sharp spurt just by virtue of the fact that Kiran Bedi is now present in the Bharatiya Janata Party. That hasn't happened. Things have perked up for the BJP, better than where they were positioned relative to the Aam Aadmi Party previously, but it's not like the singular act of bringing her in is helping the Aam Aadmi Party run away with this election.
Right, because you see, this election is a presidential kind of an election. The survey indicates that more and more people are looking at the CM candidate, and as Manisha said, the Aam Aadmi Party could go to the public and say again and again that is Modi going to be the CM, he's the PM. So Arvind Kejriwal was certainly the tallest leader in Delhi, and to counter him, probably Kiran Bedi was the only person they could have got.
I want to bring in Yogendra Yadav from the Aam Aadmi Party as well. Before I go across to the responses on Kejriwal, we'll take the responses on Kiran Bedi, because 44% of the respondents in this survey believe, Professor Yadav, that Modi is right when he says Kejriwal behaves like the Naxals. That's more than the 34% who say Modi is wrong. 44%, almost half the respondents believe that the Prime Minister is correct when he says Kejriwal behaves like Naxals, sir.
I think if you had preceded that question by another question asking them, have you heard about what is Naxal? This is what we usually do in survey research. Before we ask someone about their opinion on a specific thing which they may not have heard about, I would always ask them, have you heard this word? I think you would have had more interesting answers if you had.
The fact that people believe that Kejriwal is a runaway chief minister. You know, people were asked for their opinion on Arvind Kejriwal. 25% thought he was a revolutionary, 22% thought he was a good political leader, 14% thought he's an anarchist. But the highest response on top of people's mind is the fact that he ran away. 30% think of him as a runaway chief minister, Professor Yadav.
So it's basically 47% positive versus 44% negative. That's basically what we are looking for. I think what we were looking at, I think what has happened in this election is, because of a very intense nature of the campaign, opinions have also solidified. So in both cases you would find strong negatives and strong positive opinions. That's all you would get here.
Okay, let's now get across some of the other results for this opinion poll. What do people think of Kiran Bedi as a chief ministerial candidate? Let's now go across and put those numbers out on our screen. What are people making of Kiran Bedi? What's their opinion on Kiran Bedi as chief minister? Let's take that. 37%, that's the highest percentage of respondents think that she's been brought in to counter Arvind Kejriwal. 37% feel that. After this, 28% think that she's a natural choice to be chief minister. 13% say that the party did not have a chief ministerial candidate. 12% say that the party was not confident of a Modi wave. Manisha Priyam, this poll is essentially suggesting that people realize that the main reason that Kiran Bedi has been brought in is to counter Arvind Kejriwal. So voters, very clear, this is not because they wanted an anti-corruption crusader, this is because they wanted a face to be able to take on Arvind Kejriwal. Ms. Priyam.
Yeah, but if you see, even that 37% is not like a thumping 50% saying yes. So it says, yeah, that's the reason why we think she was brought in. But this number by itself doesn't seem to validate the fact that they are reposing their faith in her, or they think of her as somebody who they deem fit, as who they want to see in the chief ministerial chair. All they are saying is this seems to be the most plausible reason why she was brought in.
But then,
and even that not with a thumping majority. So yeah, you know, it's like a sure.
Surjit Bhalla, voters seeing through the fact that the BJP has brought in Kiran Bedi mostly as a counter to Arvind Kejriwal. That message is clear, that the party was concerned about Kejriwal. That's why Kiran Bedi has been brought in.
To me, it makes a lot of sense. I don't know what the controversy is or whatever, that last time when we were on the program, we were discussing as to how the BJP does not have a chief ministerial candidate. And so they brought in a chief ministerial candidate. I think, you know, several people have described it as a masterstroke. I am in that camp, that it is a masterstroke. She comes from, if you will, the same movement that Kejriwal comes from. She has a lot of experience with, if you will, street protests and so on and so forth. Seems to make a lot of sense. I think the people who are disagreeing with Kiran Bedi having been brought in are most likely to be the people within the BJP. And therefore they feel that, listen, somebody from outside has come in, but at the same time, with Harshvardhan not there, he's in the cabinet, that it seems that, you know, as we discussed last time, everybody was quite explicit. Here's a leader. Kejriwal is a leader. Who does the BJP have? Well, the BJP says, okay, I'm going to produce a leader. And here is Kiran Bedi. So to me, it makes a lot of sense. I think it's a masterstroke. I think it politically will help the BJP. So I think, you know, notwithstanding all of the other stuff. Plus, one other point, actually on this earlier point about Kejriwal being an actual, or being described as an actual, 44% say. Well, if I look at your questions, 14% say that he's an anarchist, and I think most people would understand what an anarchist is, and 25% say he's a revolutionary, and that's what an actual is. So I think, you know, Yogendra Yadav was saying that, listen, maybe people don't understand what an actual is, but according to your other questions, which is exactly the kind of questions that he says that he would put to people before they answer a question. So 40% think he's either an anarchist or a revolutionary, and I would venture to say, if you had this poll, 40% would describe the Nakshals as, if you will, anarchists or revolutionaries.
No, but what's also interesting, Dhananjay, in this poll, and I want to walk back to our table, 28% feel that Kiran Bedi is a natural choice. Now you can say the 37% say that she's there to counter Kejriwal, but 28%, which is also a big number, say she's a natural choice to be Chief Minister for the Bharatiya Janata Party.
Right, and you know, what I want to highlight over here is I just want to dice this data and look into the data a bit deeper. These are opinions which are rarely polarized and are driven by party loyalties and party preferences. 48% of BJP supporters say that she is the natural choice. On the other hand, if you look at AAP supporters, 44% say that she's been brought in to counter Kejriwal. Similarly, when we look at opinion on Kejriwal, 30% of Delhiites say that he is a bhagoda, and that's the word that we use. But 35% of high-income group people say so. Only 18% of low-income group people say so.
And is that something, Professor Yogendra Yadav, that the Aam Aadmi Party is banking on? The fact that far more of the richer people of Delhi think of Arvind Kejriwal as a bhagoda than the poor people. Amongst the poorer sections, only 18% think that he's a bhagoda, whereas the relatively richer people are far more negative towards Kejriwal.
That's a very standard phenomenon now of Delhi politics, which is recognized for the last few months. Basically, the slope of Aam Aadmi Party's vote and support is such that we have much stronger support in the bottom half of the electorate than in the upper half. That's a basic fact that shows you the class profile of Aam Aadmi Party. The real interesting change in the last few weeks is that Aam Aadmi Party has made substantial room for itself among the top quarter of Delhi society. That is the significant change. Allow me to make two quick points. The word revolutionary may be a very frightening word for Dr. Bhalla. I can understand that. But I just want to say the word Krantikari, and I'm sure that must have been used in the Hindi questionnaire.
Right.
It reminds people of Chandrasekhar Azad, it reminds them of Bhagat Singh, it reminds them of not of the revolutionaries that Dr. Bhalla may have in his mind. So we need to understand what people are really saying here. On the question about why she has been brought in, please remember the split is 1/4 versus 3/4. 1/4, 28% to be precise, are saying she's been brought in for her intrinsic merit, for her worth, for her qualities. The remaining 3/4 are giving negative reasons. That is something BJP might worry about.
Okay, I must tell our viewers that Sanjay Kaul from the Bharatiya Janata Party was supposed to join us on this broadcast. We sent him an advanced copy of the results so that he could prepare. After seeing the results, he's decided that he doesn't want to participate. Well, that's a case of shooting the messenger, because these are the results. It's an absolutely honest and credible poll. The numbers are what they are. If the BJP feels that those numbers are not good enough or different from their expectations, that's the reality they need to deal with. Boycotting an opinion poll is not the right way to go. Sanjay Kaul, I know that you're watching. This is the reality and we need to put it out. Very, very unfortunate, Manisha Priyam, for the BJP for one particular leader, and he was with Kiran Bedi through the day, to decide not to come because you don't like the results.
Okay, let me give you a couple of things that I see are going positive for the BJP on the ground. The BJP, for example, with Kiran Bedi in the lead, is not doing very well on television. Kiran Bedi's worst moment was the day she was announced as the chief ministerial candidate, and then she had the cameras all around her. After that, what one has seen is that she's ensconced very deeply along with other members of the party. I have not seen very frequent television interactions, but what I've seen on the ground now is a lot of prachar about Kiran Bedi. So I would say that there is Kiran Bedi answering the persistent questions which people themselves and Aam Aadmi Party were raising, where's the chief ministerial candidate? But there is in effect the prachar apparatus of the BJP which is in place. So clearly two types of institutions are fighting this election on behalf of the BJP. The results could be two. It could be that the apparatus wins, the chief ministerial candidate does not, or it could be...
No, but there's a question that comes later which is, which is the most important fact, and to my mind that's a very, very important response. But before that, I want to put out this response on the big question about the TV debate. The last few days, television channels have been focusing in a big way on whether or not there should be a TV debate between Arvind Kejriwal, Ajay Maken and Kiran Bedi. What do the respondents say? 72% of the respondents say there must be a television debate. Only 13% say that there shouldn't be a television debate. But an overwhelming majority, by far the clearest response in any of the questions that we've posed so far, 3/4 of the respondents saying there must be a television debate. Manisha Priyam, does this go against the BJP? The fact that Kejriwal is saying bring it on, Ajay Maken is saying I'm game, Kiran Bedi is saying no, we don't want to debate Kejriwal.
And Narendra Modi is also saying I'm game. If you see in the Lok Sabha, he was one of those people who did over close to 500 rallies. Each one of those televised, put onto the YouTube. But when it comes to Delhi, they have clearly gone back on a number of things that they established were clear-cut models under Narendra Modi's leadership.
Right.
So now in this case, therefore, this is definitely an abnormal outlier case for the way in which the BJP...
People in Delhi are craving for a TV debate.
And the best part is that BJP voters, 73% of BJP supporters wanted TV debate.
Oh, wow.
66% of Congress supporters want a TV debate.
Now I know why Mr. Kaul hasn't joined us.
Right.
There's good reason for him not to join us. Not that I support this idea, but because this certainly will not be music to the political managers of Mr. Kiran Bedi and the
Yadav would be happy the fact that a majority of the BJP voters, say Professor Yadav, 2/3 of the voters say there must be a TV debate. Now you can really grill this in, saying that we're prepared, BJP voters want it, but
even the Congress is prepared.
Doesn't seem to be
even
prepared.
The Congress is prepared. Nobody's giving them a hope in hell. Even they are prepared for a debate. The BJP is not.
Professor Yadav.
Let's understand the import of it. Let's understand the importance of this. I mean, it doesn't surprise me. People normally want debate in democracies. People want to see their own leaders. They want to see who is saying what. They want to be able to look into their eyes. So the answer doesn't surprise me. But the important thing is that your survey must have been conducted at a point where not everyone in Delhi had got to know that that Ms. Bedi has actually declined, that she has sort of taken the exit option from this. It would be interesting to see what would be the consequences of this. I think as the election unfolds, what your survey has already demonstrated is that the myth that suddenly Ms. Bedi's arrival would turn this election simply doesn't hold true.
Okay.
The important thing is questions like this indicate as things unfold over the next 2 weeks, the more people get to know, oh, she doesn't even want debate. The more
Surjit
people
Bhalla,
actually
is this
see
a
her
mistake in your
on
view?
television.
The
this
fact
actually
that
works in Aam Aadmi Party's favor.
the fact that Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress both want and are itching for a debate, and Kiran Bedi, who's been on record previously saying that there should be a debate between Gadkari and Sonia Gandhi when she was watching the Mitt Romney-Obama debate, now suddenly doesn't want that debate. Is this going against the BJP? The numbers seem to indicate even BJP voters want a debate.
Absolutely. Look, I think the press, the media should continue with the pressure. I think it's very, very stupid on the part of Kiran Bedi to decline to have a debate. It can only hurt her campaign. Why she did it is a mystery, but I think it is indicative of somebody running away from the battle. So I think the press should continue to put pressure on. We should have a debate. That's what modern democracies are about. And
Manisha Prem, do you agree?
We got to
there
be
should
a
be a
modern
debate?
democracy.
Yeah, absolutely. There should be a debate, and there was a
Then why is she running away?
Now, that's for her to answer. But the clear
Because when I
question is,
interviewed her the first day, she said she was willing for a debate.
why do you anoint a chief ministerial candidate? It's not something which is there in your statute or your law book.
Okay.
You are doing this to take cognizance of the reality that because of television as a medium, which is especially in a city like Delhi, is penetrates every household, the rich, poor and the underclass. Right. You know, everybody looks at the television. You want to inform your people that this is your leader. So the very